Hey guys, my name's Mukuka. I'm a Greek Zambian DJ producer focused on Afro-House.
You didn't grow up in a place where house music was popular. How did you end up becoming a full-time house musician?
So when I left music school in 2014, came back from the Berklee College of Music, I was really into DJing and producing and wanted to build my career. But I found that there was no market here in Zambia for electronic music. So a bunch of us, Sebastian Dutch, Creative Natives, the late DJ LBC, and myself, and perhaps a few other people, really started to push to grow and develop an electronic music scene here in Zambia. And it took us about 10 years, but we did it.
How does it feel to be at the forefront of Zambian house music?
It's a milestone, and I'm very grateful. I don't think about it too often because I have bigger goals. Each time I feel like I accomplish a goal, I have already set a bigger one. So I'm just focused on moving forward and growing, and now growing internationally and continuing to develop and grow the scene here in Zambia. So for me, it's not something I dwell on too much.
How has your sound evolved over the years?
So my sound has changed quite a bit since I got back from music school in 2014. I have had this evolution because I was really into Romanian house music at the time. This is what inspired me to really get into producing electronic music, and then inspired me to sort of leave producing hip-hop music as a teenager. So Edward Maya's Stereo Love for me was that song that truly revolutionized my world in terms of electronic music. But for me, I wanted to adapt what he did by fusing traditional elements with, let's say, European dance music to my own life and my own cultural setting. So the challenge was to add African elements to a European influenced house music style, which is something that I was doing in my early 20s and continue to refine throughout my 20s and become more and more influenced by Afro-House, especially living in Africa. So yeah, the evolution is tremendous, all the way up to my debut album Zebra. And now, even past Zebra, I continue to evolve and experiment more with edgy sounds, which is what I think the future Mukuka is really going to be about.
So speaking of your debut album, Zebra, how would you describe it in 3 words?
How would I describe my album in 3 words? Bicultural, the most important word. I am bicultural, I am biracial, I have 2 distinct, 2 rich and diverse cultures living inside of me. And as a musician, this has been my lifetime goal, is my lifetime goal, to learn how to deal with these 2 cultures. The second word would be melodic. I love melody. I die for melody. And the third word, Africanism. You know, Africanism that speaks to my truth, my version of Africanism.
If you could be an animal, but not a zebra, what animal would you choose?
Right here, the leopard. At this point in my life, I'm a leopard.
Have there been times you felt like giving up? And if so, how did you pick yourself back up again?
So many times, especially throughout my 20s. But to be honest, the challenges just keep getting bigger and bigger because the goals keep getting bigger. So what has always helped is, I suppose reminding myself that what I have inside of me, that what God gave me is worth sharing, it's worth fighting for. And reminding myself of where it all began as this 12, 13-year-old producing hip-hop in my bedroom, and having seen, obviously, growth throughout my career so far, and obviously pushing for a lot more. Just thinking back at these little milestones or large milestones, and picking myself up, and also just embracing the times where life throws me down. You know, let yourself fall, go to the ground, take a nap while you're down there, and then the next day get back up and kick ass.
What would you be doing if you weren't a musician?
I wasn't a musician. Could have been so many things. architecture, acting, and somewhere deep inside of me, maybe I would have been like an Interpol agent, you know, fighting against human trafficking or something like that. You know, a big global issue that I am passionate about. So.
And if you could pick a superpower, which one would it be? An unusual superpower, an unconventional superpower.
Yeah. The power to hypnotize people, you know, yeah, to get them to just like, it's like shut down like momentarily and soak up anything you want to feed them, whether it's art or, you know, just like get them to be ultra receptive for a little bit.
What misconceptions do people have about you?
So many. I mean, some stupid misconceptions like whether I'm Zambian or not. You know, I still get asked, which is pretty racist if you ask me. Some people think some people think that I'm not into Zambian women or like black women. Stupid misconception, which is obviously completely wrong. This is where I was born and raised, you know. I am very much an African man. Yeah, and probably more.
What are your favorite tracks to perform and why?
My favorite tracks, Una Sifu is a track I released this year, and I love to play it because it's got this Afro-Latin vibe with some big groovy drums, which works really well on the dance floor. My latest track, Make Me Just, which is freaking hot. I'm so excited that it's finally out, and now we're, you know, in the middle of all the promo. And probably the Sun El Musician remix of my song Lost, featuring Adekunle Gold.
And how do you psych yourself up before a show?
I depend a lot on the crowd. It's hard for me to be super psyched if the crowd is not feeding me the right energy. I mean, I could kind of try, maybe, but yeah, I'm so receptive to the energy that the crowd gives me. So if it's there, if I'm feeling it, that's it. I'm gone. I'm ready.
What are some questions that you're tired of answering?
Whether I'm Zambian or not. You know, some people still doubt that, and I suppose why in Zambia now, why I make the music that I have chosen to make.
What do we get right in the Zambian music industry, and what do we need to improve upon?
Well, for sure we have the talent, and that's God-given. So it's not man-made. It's not like Zambians created this talent per se. It's God that gave it to us as a Zambian nation, and we have that for sure. We have so much talent, so much talent. What we don't get right though is how we then exploit that talent in a positive way. You know? How we refine that talent and sell that talent, package that talent. That we are still learning how to do. Obviously, there has been progress, but yeah, we have a long way to go.
If someone has never listened to your music, what tracks would you suggest they start with?
No Waste of Time. No Waste of Time to me is a song that really highlights my fusion approach to making music. You can almost hear my two sides within that song, like very clearly. You know, you could probably hear that in other songs of mine as well. But No Waste of Time with Carienda Soul is definitely one of those songs that I think we really got right in terms of speaking my truth.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Failing to plan is planning to fail.
What's the worst advice you've ever received?
The need to have a backup plan in life. There is no backup plan. If you have a backup plan, your focus is shifted. How can you possibly manifest anything? You know, there has to be one plan. That's it.
We know that you make great music, but can you bust a move on the dance floor?
I prefer to make people dance and, you know, not do the dancing myself. You know, you don't get high on your own supply. But I can do Greek dances. You know, all my childhood I was doing Greek dances in the community here. So I'm decent. And I'm, you know, when I'm a little happy or a little, you know, tipsy, I could possibly, you know, shake my waist, but I prefer to leave it to others.
So you're not going to show us anything?
No, definitely not.
Okay. What's your most unusual source of musical inspiration?
I feel very inspired when I travel, but that's obviously not unusual. So perhaps the most unusual thing would be, involuntarily being exposed to music that is different from what I'm used to listening to. So I feel like there is this, like, you know, cognitive thing going on when you deliberately select a piece of music to listen to, even for the sake of inspiration. You have made that conscious decision to play that song, and it's a little bit biased, you know, in a way. If you randomly play me a track that I don't know, you picked it for whatever reason, it's a complete, like, it hits me in an unexpected way. It's that unexpectedness around the exposure to that music. I find that kind of inspiration to be the deepest in terms of listening to other music.
What does success mean to you, and when did you first start to feel successful?
I think as soon as I was able to go full-time in music, that was a big milestone for me. In a country like Zambia, doing electronic music, to be able to go full-time, that was the first time I realized, wow, okay, something is happening here. We're making progress. That was in 2016. And that sort of started the new chapter in my career, where on that level of growth, I now started to continue building both locally and internationally. However, I've also redefined what success means throughout my life so far. And success for me now means making music that I love, that is beautiful, not music that the industry tells me to make, not industry that fits me in a box, which is also what the industry really wants every artist to do, which I'm against, but music that truly comes from the heart, music that I think is beautiful, and obviously being able to look after myself and my loved ones and have a good life, good quality life.
You divide your time between Zambia and Spain. How do you navigate the two different African and European markets?
You know, as an Afro-European, Europe has always played a big role in my life, my European identity, my European culture. So from a cultural point of view, and even a geographic more or less, although I'm not Spanish, I'm part Greek, it has not been a big shift. You know, if it was elsewhere in the world that I was living, then it might have been more challenging. Obviously, the language is an issue. I'm learning Spanish, and it keeps getting better, you know, poco a poco. And so the focus has really been in terms of developing my network there and understanding how the European market functions, and what the difference is between the way the European market functions and the way the African market functions. So it's just been a matter of understanding that, a matter of learning, of networking, and developing my brand.
After more than a decade in the industry, what's next for you?
Immense growth. The next decade will see me grow exponentially. This is really where I will, you know, take the gloves off and get my hands dirty in terms of my brand, in terms of my music, and I'm so excited. You know, I feel like I'm at that stage where I'm ready. My 20s were about preparing myself, developing the self-confidence, developing the skill sets, developing the network, and now I'm ready to really elevate myself throughout my 30s.